You know that feeling around hour 8 when your feet just stop cooperating? Like they've filed a complaint and walked off the job while your legs keep going. Most people blame their job, their schedule, bad luck. Nope, it's almost always the shoes. Cheap foam breaks down way faster than brands admit, and by year 3 your comfortable sneakers are basically flat cardboard. These 10 actually hold up. Let's get into it. Number 10. On Cloudtilt. Ever notice how running shoes just feel wrong on concrete? Like they were built for a treadmill or a park loop, and the second you're grinding out 6 miles of straight sidewalk, something feels off in your knees, your hips, somewhere. That disconnect is basically the whole reason the Cloudtilt exists. On didn't tweak one of their running models and slap a new colorway on it. They built this thing from scratch for city walking specifically. The Cloudtech phase cushioning fires in a sequence, one pod after another, so your stride rolls forward instead of just absorbing shock and stopping there. Throw in the Hell-Ion Superfoam underneath and a sock-like knit upper wrapped around your foot, and honestly it stops feeling like footwear at some point. More like your foot got its own little suspension kit. It's light too. Doesn't feel like bricks by hour 6, which, if you've worn some of these max cushion shoes before, you know that's not a given. Number 9. Mizuno Neo Vista. Okay, weird one for you. This shoe is technically sold as a training shoe. Gym days, lifting, that whole category. But somehow it's quietly become the go-to pick for people pulling 12-hour retail shifts, and nobody really saw that coming. The secret's in the Energy NXT foam running the full length of the midsole. It's nitrogen-infused, which sounds like a marketing buzzword until you're an hour into standing on concrete and your feet genuinely don't hate you yet. The one-piece knit upper hugs your foot without squeezing anywhere weird, and despite all that cushion, the shoe never feels heavy or clunky underfoot. Nobody expected a gym shoe to moonlight as an all-day walking weapon. But here we are, and Mizuno's not exactly stopping people from buying it that way. Number 8. Skechers Go Walk 8. Quick one. When's the last time a brand actually built a shoe for walking? Not running repurposed as walking. Not basketball shoes rebranded for the office. Actual walking, from the ground up. That's the Go Walk line's entire deal, and the 8th generation doubles down on it. Ultra Go cushioning pairs with something called Hyper Pillar technology, which is basically engineered around the actual mechanics of a walking gait instead of a running one. There's an air-cooled Goga mat insole so your feet aren't swamped by noon, and some versions ditch laces entirely with a slip-in setup. Step in, go. No bending down at 6 a.m. fumbling with laces half asleep. It's built for one job, and it does that job well. Number 7. Saucony Triumph 23. Here's something most casual walkers have never heard of. Peba foam. It's the stuff elite marathoners chase, usually locked inside $250 racing shoes that most people will never even try on. Now it's sitting in the Triumph 23, and that's genuinely kind of a big deal for anyone who just wants comfortable everyday miles. Saucony's full-length PERN PB midsole uses that same Peba-based compound, and the energy return feels noticeably different from your average foam. Springier. More alive under each step, if that makes sense. A wide, stable platform and an adaptive lace system keep it locked in without choking your foot. Basically, walkers are getting race day tech smuggled into a shoe nobody's marketing as a race shoe. Number 6. New Balance Fresh Foam X1080 V14. Funny thing about max cushion shoes. More foam sounds great on paper, but a lot of them end up feeling clunky, like you're stepping on a mattress instead of actually walking. Ever worn one of those? It's not it. New Balance clearly thought about this with the 1080 V14, because instead of just cramming an extra fresh foam X, they reworked the rocker profile and overall geometry. That's what makes the heel-to-toe transition feel smoother and more natural than a lot of thicker shoes twice its price. The triple jacquard mesh upper breathes well in warm weather, the forefoot stays flexible instead of stiff, and somehow the whole thing stays lighter than expected given how plush it feels. Sometimes engineering just beats brute force cushioning. This is one of those times. Number 5. Nike Vomero 18. Nike's not usually the brand people think of for all-day comfort. Speed, style, height drops, sure. Comfort's typically someone else's lane. The Vomero 18 might actually be shifting that a little. This is probably Nike's biggest jump in comfort tech in years, blending dual-density ZoomX with their newer React X foam and one midsole. High stack height, rocker geometry that rolls you forward, and a wider base than earlier Vomero models ever had, which fixes a stability complaint people had for years. The engineered mesh upper stays breathable without feeling cheap or flimsy either. If you've been loyal to another brand for your all-day shoes, this one might be the thing that quietly pulls you away. Number 4. ASICS GEL-NIMBUS 27. Here's a stat that might catch you off guard. One of the softest shoes ASICS has ever made is built with eco-friendly foam sourced from renewable materials. Sustainable and plush don't usually show up in the same sentence, honestly. The FF Blast Plus ECO cushioning is doing most of the work here, backed by ASICS Pure GL Tech in the heel for extra shock absorption. The engineered jacquard mesh upper molds to your foot shape without pinching, and the hybrid ASICS grip outsole grips well on slick floors and wet pavement alike. Funny part is, a ton of buyers now grab this shoe purely as a comfort sneaker. Never plan on running a single mile in it. Doesn't matter, it still delivers. Sometimes the best walking shoe is just a running shoe wearing a disguise. Number 3. HOKA Clifton 10. Adding cushioning almost always means adding weight. That trade-off is basically unavoidable for most brands, and it's why a lot of comfortable shoes still leave your legs dragging by evening. HOKA seemed determined to break that rule with the Clifton 10. They bumped the stack height and refined the fit, yet somehow kept it one of the lightest max cushion shoes you can buy right now. The updated Metarocker geometry smooths out each stride, the Kmiva midsole feels noticeably plusher compared to the Clifton 9, and the breathable jacquard mesh upper keeps your feet from cooking on long walks in the heat. More support, not more weight. That combo is rarer than people realize. For anyone chasing cushion without the weight penalty, this one's basically the answer. Number 2. Brooks Ghost Max 2. Think about how much your ankle actually shifts during a long walk. All those tiny wobbles and micro corrections add up fast, and by the end of the day you're exhausted without ever knowing exactly why. Brooks went straight after that problem with the Ghost Max 2. The glide roll rocker geometry is built specifically to cut down unnecessary ankle motion, guiding your foot through a smoother roll from heel to toe instead of letting it wander. Nitrogen-infused DNA Loft V3 cushioning gives it a soft, springy ride, and the wide, naturally stable platform with a broad forefoot means you're not constantly fighting for balance either. Less wasted motion, less wasted energy. Less wasted energy means you're still upright and functional after hour 10. It's the kind of detail you never notice until it's suddenly gone. Number 1. HOKA Bondi 9. Nurses working doubles. Retail workers who never get to sit. Travelers sprinting through terminals with a backpack and zero patience left in the tank. Ask any of them what's on their feet, and there's a solid chance you get the same answer. The Bondi 9 isn't a minor refresh of last year's version. HOKA rebuilt the midsole from the ground up using supercritical EVA, and you notice the difference the second you step in. It's softer, yeah, but weirdly more energetic underfoot too, which is unusual for something this plush. The rear foot-focused active foot frame adds stability without turning stiff, the Metarocker geometry keeps every transition effortless, and the 3D molded collar means your ankle isn't arguing with the shoe by hour 4. Toss in a genuinely durable, abrasion-resistant outsole, and you've got something that survives 12-hour shifts on repeat without falling apart in a month. If your feet had a vote, this is probably where the election ends.